Well, the holidays have arrived, and that means it's time for social gatherings and holiday parties, but there are a few things you might want to keep in mind when it comes to etiquette for both the hosts and guests. That's why Liz Smith is here. She's here to help us sort of break this down. Liz is the social catering manager for the Townsend Hotel in Birmingham. Thank you, Liz, for joining us this morning. So when it comes to sending out the invitations to start the process of having a gathering, what are some of the things on the invitation right up front that people should know? Right.
You want to make sure that you're clear with the date and the day, because sometimes people could put Friday the 10th and really Friday is the 11th. So you want to make sure the date, the day, the time, and what the occasion is clear, and the location. And then you also want to make sure that you're clear on how you want the guests to respond to you. Do you want them to respond through Facebook or phone call or text? Because it's really important for the guest to know, give you that information, because the host might be planning, a certain amount of food or beverage, and they need to have enough to do that.
And also, I would imagine that as the host, you want to give yourself a good enough or a wide enough cutoff time, so that way you can make adjustments and really know what you're working with.
Right, especially if you're working with a caterer, they have a cutoff time that they need to be paid or have a certain count to order their food in that amount of time. So it's just a common courtesy. And it's also really important, if you're not coming to the event, to also RSVP no, just as a courtesy, so your guest is not, as a guest, you're not leaving that person hanging.
Right. And so what if you would like to go to the event, but time gets away from you, and now, oh no, I was supposed to RSVP last Friday, let's say?
I would still, even if it's the day before, it's just as a gracious gesture to your host, just to let them know, I really wanted to come, but unfortunately I can't make it. And maybe even send something in your honor that, I'm sending this on my behalf, but I won't be able to attend.
All right, and what are some of the things that it's important for the host to do before the guests arrive?
Well, especially if you're entertaining in your home, you want to make sure that you're organized beforehand and not leaving everything to the last minute. So if you're cooking, if you're cleaning, get everything ready in enough time so you can relax before your guests get there. So make sure the table's set, the food's done, your event space is how you want it to be, so you can greet the guests relaxed and with a glass of wine and enjoy welcoming them, into your home.
And so that also gives the guests a better experience when they come in, because there's less tension, but also you, as the host, will probably enjoy the party or the event a lot more.
Well, if you approach them stressed, then they're going to feel that energy, and it will just carry over through the party.
Right. Well, what are some of the things that guests, as we show up to the party, what are some of the common mistakes that guests do once they're in the party or at the venue?
Well, sometimes people will bring a guest that they didn't let you know they were bringing. If that happens, you always have to make sure that you're gracious and not make that person feel awkward, like, oh, I didn't know you were coming. You want to do whatever you can to accommodate them. Ask if there's any allergies that they have to food, so you can make sure if they're gluten-free that you can, take care of them.
Okay. And is it standard to bring a gift?
My mother always raised me that when you go to an event, especially somebody's home, you should bring something. You should never walk in empty-handed. So a bottle of wine, a lovely dessert, something to complement their home. Something should be just a gesture as you enter.
All right. Well, thank you, Liz Smith, for joining us this morning, giving us a lot to think about as we prepare for the holidays. Of course, Thanksgiving 3 days away, and parties for the rest of the season for Christmas and beyond, right on into New Year's. Thank you again, Liz Smith, social catering manager of the Birmingham.